Ma chambre a la forme d'une cage. Le soleil passe son bras par la fenêtre. Les chaussures à ma porte comme les petits soldats qui veulent me prendre.
I think the feeling of being like at the Olympics in front of the whole world and being on stage or in front of a cabaret audience, for me is actually really quite similar. You know, they're both kinds of performing, except one is something that I've been doing for, 13 years, and the other one I've been doing for just a couple of months. So they're both equally, they both give me butterflies in the stomach. I've learned how to use that competition adrenaline to my advantage in diving. In cabaret, I don't know, I think maybe because I'm a bit older and I've got a lot of experience with that, that adrenaline, I'm able to kind of handle it a bit better. But I think it also keeps me quite alert because it helps me to be on the ball when it comes to audience interaction. If somebody sort of heckles me, I can be like fire right back at them, and yeah, so they're pretty similar for me.
Je ne veux pas travailler, je ne veux pas déjeuner, je veux seulement t'oublier, et puis je fume. Déjà j'ai connu le parfum de l'amour, 1 million de roses ne m'aimeraient pas autant. Et maintenant d'une seule fleur dans mes entourages me rend malade. Oh, je ne veux pas travailler.
Met with Matt and his mum at a cafe, pitched the idea, gave me our credentials as producers, and he said yes. So that was the start of it.
I was really lucky this year that all of the arts festivals kind of fitted right in between my competition schedule. And most of the work we did over the Christmas period. Like, that was really where the bulk of the work of putting the show together happened. That was a pretty crazy time. Like, I'd go to training in the morning and then I'd have a 6-hour window in the middle of the day where I would alternate script rehearsals one day, vocal rehearsals, next day script rehearsals, vocal rehearsals. And we were working like 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week on that.
Je ne veux pas déjeuner, je veux seulement t'oublier, et puis je fume.
That doesn't sound right. Got it. Je ne suis pas fier de ça.
Vie qui veut me tuer, c'est magnifique être sympathique, mais je ne le connais jamais. It's French. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, welcome to my show. Welcome to my mind.
The process from there was getting a good team around Matthew to pull the whole show together. So that was a music director, Jeremy Brennan, director Nigel Turner-Carroll, and someone to turn the book into a script which was suitable for live performance, and that was Spanky.
They asked me if I would be willing to write the script for Matt's Cabaret. And so I read the book and I was like, yeah, sure. No, I agreed to it, and then I read the book and went, oh my God, what am I doing? Because I'd never written for anyone else before. And, my process is that I will sit in my room on my own, writing things for myself, making me laugh. And I usually find that if I'm finding it funny, then other people are finding it funny, or if I'm kind of like, yeah, that's really cool, then that's fine. But writing for somebody else in their voice, from their book, putting your voice into it, was all a bit kind of like...
Because the book's about 400 pages, and to get that down to an hour show where you've got 8 songs in there as well, it really took some careful refining. And I don't think we've left any essential narrative out of the book. We've just really distilled it down to make it flow into that hour.
And we kind of structured it at the beginning of how a dive would happen. So the preparation, the approach, the takeoff, the flight, and then the breaking, like going through the water, and then surfacing again. And we kind of thought of it as, you know, in the story of my chronology as well, you know, the approach, which would be the childhood, the takeoff, which would be the start of my diving career, the flight, which would, well, I guess, and the descent, which would be the, you know, the peak, which would be Beijing, and then the downward spiral, which would be the falling and breaking through and hitting rock bottom, and then resurfacing out of the drug addiction.
And the first draft was pretty epic. I rewrote the whole bloody thing. But then it kind of came about that they felt, or Matt felt, that maybe there needed to be somebody else in the show with him.
Spanky has this show called Candice McQueen Nasty, and it is the best show I've ever seen. I've seen it like 3 times, and it's just, it blows me away every single time.
Bang, bang, I shoot 'em, bang, bang. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the baddest of them all? I shoot 'em, bang, bang, I shoot 'em, bang, bang. I line 'em up, I watch 'em fall. Oh, nice. The shooter's name's Candice. The victim...
I wasn't necessarily going to be in the show, per se. But what happened was we decided to take the onus off Matt and to be able to explain to a predominantly non-addict audience what the nature of addiction is like.
Addiction is so powerful. It's like, I mean, in the show I represent it as, I personify it, because it really is a relationship that you have to struggle with inside your own head. Like, and when you are in active addiction, it's totally in control. And as much as I wanted to stop, it was so much more powerful. And so I think to help people understand the relationship that a person has with their addiction, I personified it to make it easier for people to visualize like what's actually going on inside a person's head.
Na 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 na. 'Cause the best thing about this place is it looks good from outer space.
When we first saw him, extremely green, he didn't know anything about the theatre really, so that's been an amazing thing, seeing him grow to the performer that he is now. He's like a seasoned performer now, and which is it's ridiculously huge task, and that was for me the most fulfilling thing probably on the whole project, is seeing where he was in the beginning to where he is now.
So why does it always feel like I'm the only one, the lonely one, and everybody else is insane? Thank you for pointing out where I am going wrong. Keep going on, and nothing's making sense. Silence screams in my defense. And the best thing about this place is it looks good from outer space. Because nothing's here for me. And the rules that they make never let me win. I'm always the freak that can never fit in. Is it someplace, somewhere? 'Cause the best thing around is the road that leads out of here. Na 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 na. Matt, I know that you know every single capital of the United States.
Okay, yes. So I learned the capital of every state in America. Go on, try me. Give me a state. Alabama. The capital of Alabama is A.
No.
Anyone else? Anyone else? New York. Capital. Oh, New York's interesting. New York actually has 2 capitals, N and Y. See, I know the capital of every state in America. I know. And sometimes I wish that I could be a part of it, a part that fits. And people would call me by my name instead of fag boy. Pretend that I'm fascinated by what's going on. What boys will want, that comes later. I promise that I'll be nice. So thanks.
He's much better a performer than we ever expected him to be. We recognised there was something there, but he's just exceeded all our expectations in every way. Musically, ad-libbing, with his the pieces of comedy in the show, the pieces of pathos in the show.
Elite sport is all about strength. I attached a huge amount of shame onto my depression. I saw it as a sign of weakness, and I was not going to be seen as weak, so I didn't tell anyone. My hidden depression set me off on a journey to discover external happiness, so I started to hit the gay bars in Brisbane when I was 14 years old. I think it's a pretty common story, or maybe this is my fear overcoming story. We all do the worst case scenario thing. We all go to the very, very worst case scenario about what's going to happen when I tell people that I'm gay. Are they going to kick me out? Is my world going to crash all around me? Am I going to be all alone? Nobody's going to love me, and I'm going to feel so inappropriate and isolated that I'm going to want to kill myself. You know, these are a couple of the things that I was thinking was going to happen. And my mum ended up turning around and going, well, duh, you know, like I've known for years, you know. So it was probably the best way that she could have answered it, you know. Like, I mean, she followed up with, I'm going to love you no matter what, you know, always will, always have. And that's certainly nothing that's going to change that. But for me to realise that that worst case scenario stuff was so far from the truth was a very grounding experience.
Free from the pool, you're free from diving in these clubs, you have arrived! Drugs, rock and roll, badass, Vegas hoes, late night, booty calls, shiny disco balls. I met boys and I danced till dawn, and Friday through Sunday could not come faster. Clubs and drugs were pure ecstasy, so I rationalised that the weekend was when I was truly happy. But what goes up must come down. And the come downs were awful. On Suicide Tuesday, at training, I had a dark sentient fog hovering over me, just waiting to engulf me. And then Friday would roll around, and clubbing's magic wand made that black cloud disappear. The part that I get most emotional about is actually the song Perfect by Alanis Morissette, because it's all about people not loving me unless I'm perfect, you know. And so the last verse is, so be a good boy, try a little harder, push a little further now. They'll love me if I'm perfect. And I go straight back to that place when I was a little boy, and I felt neglected, and I felt like the only way people would love me is if I did this better, if I did that better, if I was the best in the world at something. And that's the part that really hits closest to home, even still today. You know, I'll cry 50% of the shows, I'll cry in that place.
You have to be perfect so that people will like you, people will love you. Right now, you're imperfection incarnate.
Sometimes it's never quite enough. And if you're flawless.
So yeah, any validation I got was from, the judges' scores. 8 meant that the judges liked me, 9 meant that the judges loved me, and 10 meant that the judges thought I was perfect. And so, that constant trying to attain that, and, that very high standard is really hard to sustain over a long period of time. And, when you stop achieving that, then all of a sudden that external validation you're not getting anymore, and that's when my self-esteem just absolutely plummeted. And that's when I reached for the last crutch that I'd used as a teenager when I was suffering from depression, and that was hard drugs.
Well, listen, Wa, you are a fake, a phony, and a total sham. Your win at the Olympics was a complete fluke, and if you don't repeat it in London, you're going to be exposed for the total phony that you are. Your world ranking is actually number 2. So guess what, Matt? You ain't the best at anything in the world after all.
This old black dog is hounding me. He lives round the corner, he hides in the trees. I feel the chill of something blowing in on the breeze. In the light of a cinema screen I hide, laughing I only feel empty inside. Crying means nothing, I've nothing to say. I wish I could kick that black dog away. And the worst part is knowing my part in it all. And the worst part is knowing it's nothing at all. Oh, if I could pull myself together, I'd try. Oh, I can't explain the tear that sits in my eye. I try to outsmart him, but somehow he knows wherever I am, that fucking dog goes. I'll kill him, and next time I swear I won't fail. I'll kick in his ribs and I'll rip off his tail. And the worst part is thinking it's something it's not. And the worst part is thinking it might never.
Drugs were the most powerful thing I had found to change the way I felt. I felt pretty shitty about myself, and then, when I tried drugs, it was like, oh my God, I feel amazing, and I just wanted to keep replicating that feeling, and hence the cycle of addiction started. When E wasn't, quite enough, and then I found crystal, and then, crystal's a very, very powerful drug, and so it's really no surprise that, I would use and feel high and then come down and feel worse, and so I'd use and, to feel high again, and so, that's how the cycle of addiction starts, and once it starts, it's very, very hard to break, especially if, you started using to escape some sort of reality. What is the incentive to stop using just to go back to face some shitty reality? Like, it's quite a hard sell for an addict sometimes.
Oh, if I can't pull myself together, I'll die.
I mean, I guess that's why I embarked upon this whole journey of personal discovery, and, why I'm doing this show is because of that journey of going through that relationship and then breaking up with Tina. It's like, it really is like the hardest boyfriend you ever broke up with, it really is an emotional breakup when you try and break up with an addiction, and it's, the ties are never severed, because it's not like you never have a relationship with her again. It's like you've always got a relationship with that addiction. It's just whether or not you act on it. So it is a very, very painful, very long separation process.
Lachlan,
I'm using.
Lachlan, I'm using.
Great, it'll just be us.
I love you. I'm sorry. Please, help. Thank you for this bitter knowledge, guardian angels who left me stranded. It was worth it, feeling abandoned. It makes one hardened, but what has happened to love? Got me writing lyrics on postcards. Then in the evenings, looking at stars. But the brightest of the planets is Mars. What has happened to love? So I will opt for the big white limo, the Vanity Fairgrounds, and rebel angels. You can't be trusted with feathers so hollow. Your heaven's inventions, you steal like vampires.